Welcome to Monster Territory, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. Tonight was the Lucas Giolito show. 8 shutty for the night. My goodness, Giolito was absolutely cruising here tonight. What a great story he's been all year. I mean, honestly, really, think about it. Missed all of last year. You go back to that offseason going into 2024, and your premier signing was Lucas Giolito. We were all hoping to get Jordan Montgomery. We ended up getting Giolito, ends up blowing out the elbow in spring training, and we're thinking, what the heck is even going on here? He missed all of 2024. Here he is in 2025. One of the most solid pitchers in the game. Even go back before that injury. Wasn't really performing all that well. Went to the Red Sox. They came up with a good game plan, and here he is, having himself a great year. I think he's actually one of the better stories on the year this year. He just keeps on going here. He's been so solid. He looked a lot better than his last time out in the Bronx. We'll get into his start here in a little bit. And listen, for most of the game here, the Red Sox pulled away late, but they needed every bit of it going up against Kyle Bradish here tonight. My goodness, Kyle Bradish. This guy was striking out at everyone left and right. Had 10 strikeouts over 6 innings. Tip of the cap to Kyle Bradish in his return from Tommy John. We talked about him last night. I'm thinking, hey, this guy was, he was one of the better arms in the game before going down. He was looking great last year in the early going. Had an ERA under a 3, FIP under a 3. The strikeouts were way up over the 7 starts, and he just went down. That was tough for the Orioles. Remember, the Orioles, people were really looking at them last year as a World Series contender. They ended up, making an early exit in the postseason in the wild card round, but, Bradish, losing him was a big deal for that Orioles team. So he looked A-okay here tonight. Obviously, we're talking Red Sox over here on Monster Territory, but hey, for 2026, he's looking all right. So this is something the Red Sox are going to have to worry about for next year. He looked great. But you got some runs across the board. It was more than enough for Giolito. Trevor Story, 21st home run, but that's not just the story. No pun intended, actually, on that one. That was not meant to be said like that. But we've talked about him all year. He's been great. If you're looking for another great story, goodness gracious. I swear I'm not coming up with these puns, I promise you. But he's another one. But not just his 21st home run of the year, his 200th career home run. The 18th shortstop all-time in Major League history with 200 home runs. 7th all-time among shortstops with 200 home runs and 200 stolen bases. Pretty good company. Pretty good company right there. Gotta love that. Man, oh man. How about David Hamilton? I'm going to say this. Yes, David Hamilton hit a home run. Hit a home run here today. That was his first since June 20th against the Giants. But how about David Hamilton laying down the sack bunt? How about that? Remember the last time he tried to bunt? Or at least, I don't remember if there was a bunt attempt along the way, but remember that one in San Diego? That felt like the last straw for him getting sent down. And then he comes back up. He lays down a sack bunt. Ended up leading to another run. Look at that. Look at that. You got to love it. But Hamilton, hey, he's been great. He's been hitting really well as of late. We could actually pull up the numbers here. Taking a look-see at these numbers. And hold on. He's been pretty hot as of late. Pretty hot as of late. Let me get these numbers pulled up here for you. Over his last 19 ABs, he's got 6 hits, including the home run tonight, 3 RBIs, a few walks to go along with it, 5 Ks. But over the last 7 games, 19 ABs, hitting .316, slugging over a 600. Nice to see David Hamilton contributing here, along with Connor Wong. What the heck is going on right now? Connor Wong, David Hamilton, stepping up here in the dog days of August. I mean, you got to love it. You got to love it. How about that? I mean, listen, we've had all the big names over the, last several weeks, last couple of months, stepping up in the big time moments for the Red Sox, right? But it's nice to see guys like David Hamilton and Connor Wong, who have struggled mightily this year, stepping up. You got to love it. You got to love it, man. But again, David Hamilton, he's hot. And Connor Wong, his numbers are great lately, too. He's 8 for his last 22. So, got to love that, man. So, Good game here tonight. We'll get to the updated standings in a little bit. We'll go over, obviously, the offense for tonight. We'll go over Giolito's performance. After that, again, we'll get to the standings, but we'll preview game 3. I think did I make an error on the? Oh no, I did not make an error on the screen. I thought I did for a second. Nope, I did not make a typo. We'll be previewing game 3, and there is a call up. There is a call up. Not Peyton Tolley, unfortunately. Hopefully that comes here in the near future. I think he starts tomorrow. It's tomorrow or the next day. I have to go check. I believe it's tomorrow. But there was another call up within the Red Sox organization, or at least reportedly. It's a guy that's on Twitter land that seems to he's got a good pulse on what's going on in the minor leagues. We'll talk about that in a little bit. One of the Red Sox higher ranked prospects, not getting called up to the Red Sox, but within the organization. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So, Money Mike Madness, September call-up for Tolley. I don't see why not. I mean, you got people in the Red Sox media talking about it. I believe they're talking about it here tonight on the post-game show. I don't see why you wouldn't. Anyway, I would love it. Not just because of how good he is, but the man looks like Ron Swanson. I need him up with the Red Sox. It's perfect. Anyway, enough of me rambling. A lot of familiar faces here in the chat. Thank you so much for stopping by here on a Tuesday evening. Really appreciate that. Also, these earlier start times here in Baltimore, it's throwing me off a little bit. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm so used to, 7 o'clock. That's kind of when I start dialing in, right? It's when I'm making myself a little sandwich. I'm getting myself a nice little meal, and all of a sudden, I'm making some dinner here tonight. And this happened last night too. I forgot to mention it. And it says the game's coming on here in a minute. I'm like, well, hold on a second. Well, I forgot. I started a little earlier here tonight and last night. Man, that's throwing me off. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get to it here. Let's get to it. So we do have a couple of sponsors here for tonight. I'll get to those in a little bit, but let's go over Lucas Giolito here, shall we? I mean, what a night for Giolito. I mean, really, even though it was a big night, there's not really a whole lot to digest. A lot of four-seamers tonight, a lot of change-ups, sliders as well. Four-seamers up in the zone. The velo was looking pretty solid here tonight, up a little bit from his season average, right around half a mile per hour. He was keeping a lot of them up or higher in the strike zone. He got 4 whiffs on the fastball tonight. Change up, he got 5 whiffs. He was locating that pretty well. He was locating the fastball well. That was, I think, a difference from his last start against the Yankees. And I'll actually show you here in just a second, but he got 3 whiffs on the slider. He was keeping those pitches down. Just a good night for Giolito. The location was the key. But here's what I'm talking about here. If you're with me live, you'll be able to see. Here was his last start at Yankee Stadium. If you're looking at the screen here, you got a lot of reds and a lot of fastballs. He was keeping in the middle of the zone his last time out. And the Yankees are making a good amount of contact. And then look at what it was like here tonight. The fastballs, he was staying away from the middle of the zone. He was going up. He was going in on righties. He was going away on righties, in on righties, right? But he was keeping them, for the most part, away from that middle part of the zone, right? If you take a look here, when it came to the changeups, he was keeping a good amount of them low in the zone. But then if you go to that last start, he really only had one that was a pretty good amount under the strike zone. The other ones, they were in the zone. He was hanging them a little bit. So you could definitely see the difference when it came to the command here. Change-ups low in the zone, below the zone. You got to love that. So definitely an improvement when it came to the location here for Giolito. Great start for him. One of his better starts on the year. Taking a look here at the updated numbers for Lucas Giolito. 21 starts, 3.47 ERA, 119 and a third innings pitched. I believe that is his second time on the year going 8 innings. So he went 8 innings so it was just this month. That's why my potato brain is able to remember that. He went 8 innings against the Astros at the beginning of the month. He did go 7 2/3 against the Nationals on July 4th. Wasn't fully able to get that 8 innings. But he's been great, man. He's been fantastic. Again, just go back a couple of years ago before his injury when, he was with the White Sox, he was with the Angels, he was with the Guardians, and he was looking rough, He looked all right with the White Sox, but he just looks completely different. Emily, how you doing? How we doing? Who else we got here in the chat? We got John, we got Money Mike, TD, what's going on, man? Andrew, Julio, what's going on? Moose, how you doing? Jennifer, hello. George, what's going on? But yeah, Giolito, what a great story he's been this year. Fantastic night. Yes, and Julio Sanchez, great point there in the chat. That last strikeout, man. I love when a guy. Also, he threw 4 pitches in the 7th inning. He got a good amount of help there from the Orioles. They were just swinging away first pitch. They were helping him out pretty much 4 pitches there in the 7th inning. And then the 8th inning, able to get a nice moment like that, striking out the last batter of his outing, pumped up a little bit on the mound. He should be. All right. He should be, man. He's become not just one of the best pitchers on the Red Sox staff, but he just feels like a good presence within this Red Sox clubhouse, right? He's always that's another thing too about him. I love how friendly he is with the media. I love how he's always talking to Rob Bradford, one of my favorite guys out there. He's always talking with him. He's always open to just, having conversation with anyone in the media. He seems like a good dude, man. And I'm glad he's having success here. You got to love that. So let's move on here. Let's talk about the offense. Before we do, though, we do have a word from our sponsor. I'll be right back.
FT fam, welcome to the world's most comfortable swimwear. For a moment, we are talking about Fair Harbor. We actually have some show and tell today. This is the liner that you're working with inside of the shorts and the bathing suits.
You know what the best part is about this, Scott?
What?
They have a lot of different options because these are clearly yours because I would never order this pattern.
But that is so
great
me.
On you.
That is so me.
These are so you. Mine are a little bit more plain than this.
Yes.
But they are super comfortable. The liner, I love liner shorts. Some people don't. But these liners are better than most that I've had on, if not all of them.
Yeah, this is the best liner out there.
No mesh. All of the above is perfect.
Exactly. It's really good. You got to give it a shot. Also, fun random fact, you get a new shirt. It smells really good. So head to fairharborclothing.com/FOUL and use code FOUL for 20% off your first purchase. Once again, Fair Harbor, HARBOR clothing.com/FOUL for 20% off your first purchase and use that promo code FOUL so they know FT sent.
So on to the offense here in the 2nd inning. Red Sox getting it started early. Like I said, Trevor Story with his 21st home run of the year. I'll say it again in case you missed it. Let me just double check. I have that number correct. The 18th shortstop all time with at least 200 homers. 7th in Major League history with at least 200 homers and 200 stolen bases. But Story getting it started in the right way. Bradish just hanging a slider. The stuff was looking good for him tonight, but you could tell that location, he was working on it there a little bit in the beginning. 3rd inning, Hamilton with the home run. Like I said earlier, first home run since June. 8th inning, Seti with the double. Seti has been a little cold as of late. So nice to see him get into one there. 28th double on the year. Like I said earlier, David Hamilton with the sac bunt. You got to love that. You got to love it. Narvaez with a bunt of his own, with a swinging bunt. And, hey, it's just one of those pitches or one of those batted balls that it's like impossible to really go, do anything with it, right? Just trickled out right in front. Couldn't really do anything. Seti scoring there. That made it 3-0. And then the 9th inning. One of my favorite things I love to talk about here. One of my favorite things. Trevor Story with the base hit. What happens next? He steals. 23rd of the year. Nate Lowe with the walk there. Once again, Nate Lowe just finding a way to contribute. They're talking about Kyle Harrison on the main Nesson postgame show. I'm trying to see what they might be talking about. Anyway, Seti ground ball to third. Story ended up being out, but then Seti, he was safe at first base. And then Yennier Cano, who was pitching this inning, he ended up throwing a wild pitch, moved the runners up, and that set up David Hamilton with the bloop double. Not Kyle Stowers. Goodness gracious, I almost said Kyle Stowers. Dylan Beavers. Almost, it looks like he lost it in the lights, or I'm not sure what happened with that one or if there was a bit of confusion there. I don't know, but it ended up falling there. No one was able to come up with it. A couple of runners scored that made it 5-0. And that was pretty much it for the night. Justin Wilson, he came in for the ninth with a 5-run lead. I was thinking maybe we were going to see Jordan Hicks there. That's kind of a spot where that's where I would like Jordan Hicks to get into the game. You know, Wilson and Hicks both pitched on Saturday in that blowout. All right, the 12-1 final at Yankee Stadium. Wilson, he only threw a third of an inning. So, you know, Hicks, he threw a full inning. So, I don't know. I guess that was that's my guess why Wilson ended up coming in. But to me, I trust Wilson a lot more than I do with Hicks. And I'm really wanting Hicks to get as much work as he can, you know? I would have loved for Hicks to come in here tonight, but that's all right. But then, you know, Wilson, he has not been sharp. So I do understand where you want him to get some work too. He got Gunnar on the ground out, but then Kowser Basayo had the base hit. He struck out Mayo, and then Narvaez with the pass ball. That moved the runners up, but he was able to get out of it in the end. He shuts it down, and that was it. 5-0 final. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Everyone, if you can, before we get to the standings, we're going to talk about Game 3, and we're going to talk about a possible call-up within the organization. If you can, just hit that like button. If you are new to Monster Territory, think about subscribing down below. We are trying to get to 5K by the end of the season. That is definitely a goal here. Let's check on the standings here. Let's check on the standings, and then we'll go talk about Game 3 here tomorrow. So I believe we have a couple of games going on right now, so obviously we won't be able to see the full picture until tomorrow. Taking a look at the standings. Here we go. So the Red Sox firmly in that first wild card position, record at 73-60. The Yankees, they are playing the Nationals right now. Let's check on that. The Yankees, they are in control at Yankee Stadium. It looked like Luis Gil ended up having a decent game there tonight. He had 5 Ks, but he walked 4, but whatever. Only give up a run. So it looks like the Yankees are going to be on their way to a win unless something dramatic happens. But the Yankees, they're in that second wild card spot. If they win here tonight, which it looks like they will remain half a game behind that first wild card. The Mariners, they are playing. They did win last night against the Padres. Remember, when we checked on that, Cal Raleigh hit his 50th homer. Let me know who you think. This has been a bit of a debate on Twitter land here today. I saw people talking about it. Who would you vote for? I know we're Red Sox fans over here, but listen, you got to respect Aaron Judge, man. With the numbers that guy's putting up, I mean, come on, we can't ignore those kind of numbers, right? A lot of people debating between Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. That's tough because Judge has definitely been the, how do I say this? Raleigh does have the homers, right? But Judge, I mean, holy cow, this guy is the overall offensive game that he's putting up. I mean, holy cow. Like, for example, like, sure, Raleigh has the 50 homers, right? But, you know, Judge has 40. So, yeah, there's a difference there. But Raleigh hitting 247. Judge hitting 323. Raleigh, 353 on base. Judge, 439 on base. Raleigh with a 596 slugging. Judge with a 667. Raleigh with a 161 WRC plus. Judge with a 193. So Judge, yes, doesn't lead in the home runs, but he's been by far, no disrespect to Raleigh, obviously, he's been great offensively, but Judge has been the better overall offensive player. Where Raleigh really makes up for it, though, is the defense behind the plate. So I'm a sucker for defense. It's kind of where I'm at with that, you know? I don't know. Let me know who you'd vote for, and leave the bias at the door. Just because we don't like the Yankees around here, that's okay. It's okay to show some respect to Aaron Judge. I think that's a good debate. Judge is the better offensive player overall, but Raleigh, he's very good offensively, but gives you a lot defensively as well. So, good debate there. Moving on here. Again, going back to the standings. So the Mariners, we didn't even check on the score. My goodness, that's my potato brain at work. That game just started. That is 0-0. at this time. So we'll have to see how that ends up tomorrow when we wake up. As for the division, the Blue Jays, they are playing the Twins as of right now. Let's see what's going on there. The Blue Jays hanging on here to a 1-run lead. They got a runner on first. 4-3. Twins, we're rooting for the Twins over here. We need the Twinkies to pick up a win. Need a win. 4.5 back as we speak. Let's talk about Game 3 for tomorrow. Let's talk about Game 3. And here we go. Let's go pull this up. Game 3 tomorrow, 6:35 Eastern time. That's so early. So early. I'm not a fan. I don't know. Is anyone a fan of that? I mean, I guess I kind of like maybe starting up these the show a little earlier. Like, it's so it just throws me off. Brian Bayo getting the nod there tomorrow. He's 10-6, 3.07 ERA on the year. He was fantastic in his last start against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. 7 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned, 5 Ks. He was in complete control the entire night. He looked fantastic in those road Reds, man. But against the Orioles, a lot of guys have seen Bayo. Definitely familiar with him. Gunnar Henderson hitting .313 against him, over 16 ABs, has a home run against him as well. Colton Cowser, he's 3 for 10 against him with 4 RBIs. Jackson Holiday has a hit against him. Mountcastle, he's 1 for 10 against him. So, I mean, there's definitely been a lot of experience against Bayo. But with how this guy's been doing here, I mean, my goodness. I think a sweep is definitely in your grasp. I think they can pull this off here tomorrow, liking our chances. We'll see, though. We'll see. The Orioles, like I said, they've seen them a lot. Let's see if they can come back with the right game plan. Before we get to the little bit of news within the organization, we are going to talk about one more sponsor for tonight. We'll be right back.
Kratz, if you need to pay rent for your apartment and you're not getting anything for it, then you probably haven't heard of Bilt.
You have to pay rent every single month. Why not get some points that you can redeem for other things that are a lot more fun than paying rent, like flights, hotels, Uber rides?
That's right. And it doesn't stop there. Bilt is about making your entire neighborhood more rewarding. You can dine at your favorite local restaurants, and you can earn additional points with VIP treatment at certain fitness studios. And you can also enjoy exclusive experiences that are just for Bilt members. They announce them every month. Bilt is turning a monthly expense into an opportunity to earn rewards and discover the best that your neighborhood has to offer. Your rent is finally working for you, and you can earn points on rent and around your neighborhood wherever you call home by going to joinbilt.com/foul. That's joinbilt.com/FOUL. Make sure to use our URL so they know that FT sent you. Get after it.
Alrighty, let's get to it. So, no Peyton Tolley, at least yet, but pretty interesting call-up within the organization. And if you're not following Hunter Knoll on Twitterland, I suggest you do. He seems to always have a pretty good pulse on what's going on down at the minor league level. And he did put out there today, a little earlier this afternoon, saying, per source, the Boston Red Sox have promoted outfield first base prospect Justin Gonzalez to high A. Justin Gonzalez, man, this guy, he is having a very good year down in the minor leagues. Let me pull up the numbers here. He's been very good. Very good. And he's one of the top prospects in the Red Sox system for a reason. Overall this year, between the developmental league and A-ball, hitting .294 with a .377 on base, .418 on the slugging, a .129 WRC plus, 4 homers. Well, you might be thinking after I just said those numbers, Robbie, I mean, those are pretty good numbers, but I mean, it's not, anything eye-popping by any means. Those aren't Roman Anthony numbers. I mean, well, I mean, he's okay. What's the big deal? The big deal is he's 18 years old. And, A-ball, not anything crazy by any means, but I think that's actually pretty interesting because on average, only just a few years ago, the average age at high A was around 22 years old. 21, 22. So that's, kind of, when you look back, over the last few years, I mean, that hasn't really changed all that much. He's 18 years old at high A. Very advanced at the plate. Very advanced. And taking a look here at the scouting report, he is 12th overall in Baseball America's rankings for the Red Sox. They give him a 45 hit, which I think needs to go up a little bit. The on-base skills have really, really shown this year, close to a 400, and they give him a 60 on the power. Now, he is a patient hitter, and absolutely, he makes a lot of hard contact. The metrics down in the minor leagues, they are very good. But the one thing that they think he needs to iron out is more so the bat path, making consistent hard contact. He has a good eye at the plate. For me, I would give him around a 50 on the hit tool. That's just where I'm at. Now, when it comes to pipelines, they actually are much higher on his hit tool because of his plate discipline. They give him a 55 on the hit. So that's where I'm in the middle, right? I think, with how much good contact he makes with the plate discipline, sure, he can make more consistent contact, but that's where I'm at with a 50. So, but the power is definitely there. The metrics are looking very good with him. Again, he's 18 years old, going to high A. Who knows? This is a guy that we could see maybe in the next couple of years, very young. We'll see. But everybody, I am going to wrap it up right there for tonight. We are out of time. If you can on the way out, hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you all for coming out for tonight's episode. If you are listening to this in the morning, go have yourself a good rest of your day. Everybody, we'll see you tomorrow.